What is up, guys? Alex from Manic Creates here, and today I want to share with you 5 tips in regards to file organization and just general tips that I think every creator should know. These 5 small things can add up to a lot of saved time and a lot of avoided headaches, and most importantly, help you stay in your creative flow. Let's get into it. So for those of you who use a computer on a daily basis with your creativity, it's so important to be organized and efficient with your files so that you don't lose anything or get sidetracked in your creative flow. These 5 things that I have for you today are just things to think about, as well as some tools to use to really help you hone in while being creative and just have that workflow be more streamlined, efficient, and not detract from your creativity, but instead enhance it. The first thing I want to talk about is cloud program management. In today's workflow, we all use a lot of cloud-based softwares like Google Drive or Google Keep or Microsoft OneNote, anything that holds a lot of different files for you. A lot of time I see people trying to find the perfect app for everything that they do. And I just want to say it's okay to have multiple different apps for different parts of your workflow, as long as you are intentional and know exactly which app does what in your workflow. Over time, I've learned it's not a bad thing to use different apps for different purposes and keep different types of notes in different areas, because each one has its strengths and weaknesses, so why not use it for what it's intended to do that works best for you? As an example, I use Microsoft OneNote to kind of jot down ideas and work on my research, while I like Google Keep to keep quick jot down of notes. But when I'm working on final documents, I like to put them in Google Drive because I can format them better and organize them better in a more organized file structure. They all work together, and when I have an idea or when I'm looking for something at a certain stage of development, I know which app to look in to find it because I've already devised that system. So my tip and my suggestion to you is to actually go and write down every app that you use and why you are actually using it. What types of ideas are in those? What aspect of your work do you use it for? Just so it actually forces you to think about what is in what spot, so you never have to look for a rogue idea again. Number 2 is Google Drive and Dropbox. Now, these are services that a lot of us use quite frequently, especially now that we have to send files literally all around the world. Like tip 1, I'm not saying use one or the other. I'm actually saying just be intentional with what you use each one for. I use Google Drive for actually writing stuff and mostly for docs and collaboration. Dropbox, I like to put big files like media files and photos. I just really like their syncing system for large files and the way that it's integrated into Finder. Now, the second part of this tip is to just be aware of the different ways you can share files within those services. You can share files or folders as a collaborative system, and you can also share them as just a literal link that somebody can download and is their own copy of that file. Let me show you really quick what I mean so that you don't run into these same issues, so that you're actually sharing files the way you're intending to share them and know what's possible. In Dropbox, if you have a folder and you just go over here and hit share, it will prompt you to type in email addresses and invite them to edit and share my folder, as you can see right here by Ken Edit. There's also a Ken View, but it's still a shared folder. Now, if I don't want them to be able to edit and I just want to share a one-off download link for a file or folder so somebody can just see it and download it, I just go down here to create link. It creates a link which I can just email to whoever I want, and they will see that folder and can download it, but it's not actually attached to my Dropbox anymore, and they can download it up until I delete this folder from my own Dropbox. This is also helpful if you're sharing a file with somebody who doesn't have a Dropbox account at all. They can still download from this created link. Now, in Google Drive, it's basically the same thing. You can either make a collaborative folder or just a link that somebody can either add to their own Google Drive or just view or download. Now, in Google Drive, all you have to do is go to the file or folder you would like to share and right-click on it and click the share button. You'll be greeted with a pop-up. If you type in people's names or email addresses right here, it will create a link for only them, and it's a more of a collaborative effort. You can also go down here to the get link. You can copy the link to share. However, you should be aware of the permissions associated with the link, which is right here. Currently, this link is restricted, so only people added can actually use this link, but I can also switch it to anyone with the link. This is really good if you're sharing a file or folder with a big team of people. Much like the pure download link in Dropbox, make sure you have it on anyone with the link instead of specifically who you've shared it with. Number 3 is folder templates, and this isn't just a folder full of templates, although I do use those as well, and they're very handy. So this is actually a template of a folder structure. For instance, every time I make one of these videos, I have a folder structure that I like to use. There's a folder for my Premiere files, there's a folder for different assets, there's a folder for footage, for the audio files. So what I've done is I've made a template of that folder structure with all the folders already named that I just duplicate when I start a new project. It is very simple, but it really helps with your organization because you know where everything needs to go, and it's the same with every single project. Number 4 is keeping your Mac awake, or more appropriately, not letting your Mac go to sleep. Why would you want to do this? One of the biggest uses for me is when I'm uploading large files or a large amount of files to Dropbox. I don't want my computer to fall asleep halfway through and half the files don't actually end up making it up. So I use an app called Lungo, which is very easy. It's just in the menu bar. You can click it for any amount of time and it just keeps your computer awake. It's also very handy when I'm filming videos and I don't want my screen to fall asleep in the midst of filming. And number 5 is an app called Disk Catalog Maker. For any of us that use a lot of external drives for backup, for archiving projects, Disk Catalog Maker allows you to basically scan all those drives and search on them even when they're not actually connected to your computer. This really helps when you're trying to find that file or that project and you're not sure which of your 10 backup drives it's on. You can just go into the application, search through that, and find which drive you have to connect and know exactly where you're gonna find your files. And number 6, I have a bonus tip for you, and that is an app called Focus. This is an app I use every day, and it's actually on a schedule for me. It helps block websites and apps that are distracting. It turns on the Do Not Disturb function on your Mac to stop notifications. And it's just very useful to keep you focused while you're trying to do deep work. Now, when it comes down to how you like to work and how you're most productive, some of these may work, some of these may not work, but I hope it gave you some sort of an idea or inspiration how you can improve your workflow and your file management just a little bit. Leave a comment down below if you have a useful tip like this or an app that you like to use that really helps in a small but significant way. That's it for this video, guys. Give this a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next video. Until then, always be creating.